Hello, my friends. This is Melanie from Melanie Smith Stamps, and welcome to the Scrapbook Pal YouTube channel. Today, I'm making some cards using the On the Farm collection from Spellbinders. I'm showing you the items here, along with a couple of honeybee items I will be mixing in to finish our scene. Everything here is listed down below in the links for your convenience. So if you see anything during the video and would like to check it out in the shop, I would love for you to check those links out down below. Well, let's jump into it and make our little animals. We are going to create the little ham it up pig. This was a had to have item. I thought the pig was adorable. My little grandson, Liam, absolutely loves the pig. So I had to create the pig. He's 2 years old and he speaks pig language. So we had to make the adorable pig. So I'm showing you here how to assemble him. He is precious. I'm using some of the 1mm adhesive squares. I'll make sure that's linked down below as well. I love the 1mm thickness compared to the 2mm. It just gives a little dimension instead of a whole bunch of dimension, which is nice for mailing. Every time I order from Scrapbook Pal, I order me some. So that is definitely something for a wish list. If you are holding off ordering and waiting until you get a bunch of stuff together, that is definitely an item I would put on the list. Look at these little tiny ears. These little tiny pieces are so adorable. And this is one of the cutest little things. But these little ears, these double reverse tweezers are definitely a need to have item on your desk when you're crafting with these guys, because these guys are itty bitty. And if you have the right tools, I always say make sure you're using the right tools when you're crafting with these guys. It makes it a lot easier for you, and the outcome is precious. So there's our little ham it up guy. We're just going to add his little hat and he will be ready to go. So we're going to also create one other animal today, and because he's got to have some friends, right? I mean, if we're going to have a scene, we have to have some animal friends. So let's just pop his hat on his head, and then we will build his animal friends as well, because that is definitely a must-have. So let's pop him on here, and then we are going to play with the Spring Chicks set. The Spring Chick set is adorable, and we're going to use the sentiment in here as well. The sentiment reads, "You're my favorite chick," I believe. And this is a mama chicken and 2 baby chicks, and then you have the nest of eggs. So, you know, eggs are a prime thing right now if you've checked the grocery store recently. So I thought the little nest of eggs was cute, but I want them to be little chicky eggs and not little eat eggs. So this is the mama chick, and I chose not to put the hat on her. I'll show you that here in a second. I liked her, I don't know what it's called, the little red on her head. Hey, that rhymes. That's kind of cute, red on her head. But I decided to leave her little hat off. But she does have this cute little hat you can put on her to match her apron if you want to put it on there. But I chose to leave it off because I like that detail on her head. She's super cute for a mama chick. So now these little baby chicks, talk about little tiny pieces. The tool, I'm telling you, make sure you have a pokey tool. I'm sure all of you have one of these little tools that have a pickup item on one end, the waxed pickup part, and the pokey part on the other. This one in my hand here is actually the new Altenew one, and I believe it is also available in the store. And then, of course, a micro tip glue. Either this one here, which is the Sweet Petunia, and I believe the Barely Art also has a fine tip, which would be another go-to if you're doing these types of die cuts. So here I am using my reverse tweezers as a third pair of hands and easily using it to tuck in all these little eggs. They're just adorable, and I make them go in like different directions just to make it look normal. You know, they're not going to all sit straight in a line. They're going to go in different ways. So I just was me and put them in different ways because that makes it fun. So nothing is perfect in nature. All of it goes its own way. Matter of fact, this afternoon, I'm looking out the door, and what do I see? But two mama geese. Not geese, I'm sorry, turkeys. Turkeys were in my backyard. I was shocked. So here's the chickens. Aren't they cute? They are so cute. So cute. Okay, now, in the magic of YouTube, I'm just going to show you these real quick because these are not what I'm featuring today, but they're going to go on my card because they are adorable. And I think they are perfect for this brand new set from Spellbinders. And I think you might already have these in your stash, but if not, they are available in the Scrapbook Pals shop. Now here are all the die cut pieces. In the magic of YouTube, on a count of 3, 1, 2, 3, here they are all put together. So I went ahead and did that off screen to save a little time in the video, but we were going to use them in our background of the card. Now this is the stencil, the Honeybee Stamps stencil, and it is called Farmhouse Fields. I did just check, it is still available in the store, and this video goes live in a week, so hopefully it is still available in the store, and you luck out if you don't have it and want it and can go get it. So it is really cool, and we are making our farm scene with it today. So I'm listing all of the ink colors on the screen just for your convenience, so you can grab them out of your stash if you want to go ahead and craft with me. I love crafting with you guys. I always say I want to craft life with you. That's like my little slogan. So if you guys ever want to craft with me, find me on social media because I want to craft with you. So now I'm using 3 greens because I want all my greens to look a little different. So I'm actually putting 2 greens in the tree because I felt like it just needed to have some areas filled in, and I thought it would give it a little bit more dimension. So I'm using that, and then I am going to also use a different green. It's actually the second green I put in the tree, mowed lawn. I'm going to use that as the grass down below. But before that, I'm going to go ahead and use Rustic Wilderness and Vintage Photo here in the tree bark. So I'm doing that, and I'm just darkening the bottom and that one branch that had a tiny bit of green in it. So I was able to cover that up super easy, very forgiving. Distress oxides are very forgiving. So now I'm just going to quickly do the grass, and later on we're going to turn this into a 5x7 card, which at this point I was not sure about. So I did cut it just in case I wanted to do the panel 5x7, because at first I thought I would cut it down to an A2. But at this point, I wasn't sure. So I left myself options by cutting my piece of paper 5x7, so that if I wanted to bring it down and bring that grass lower, I would have that option later. I didn't know until I laid my die cuts on it. So I have that option, and we do take that option later and we bring the grass down. So these 2 stencils here are like these little hills. I envisioned them as the fields that the farm is on. So, the fields that they are planting. Now, this is something I did. I was going to just show you the technique here real quick. This is not something that comes in the set, but this is the stencil I used to stencil the tree and the background trees. And I am going to make myself a mask. So I'm just showing you this real quick so you can see how I did it. The stencil for the sky just gives you stencils for the clouds. And I wanted a blue sky. So I decided to make myself a mask to be able to mask the tree and the background trees. So where I'm putting those X's is what I'm cutting off. That was just a reminder to myself not to cut the other items apart. I wanted to make sure that the sky was the part I was cutting out, which is why I just cut that piece off to remind me, because the first time I did it, which I cut out of the video so you didn't have to watch, the first time I did it, I actually cut the bottom off. So I need this piece to cover up my tree and the bottom so that I can now ink my sky. So isn't that kind of a smart technique to be able to do, to just make it my own? So it's super simple. It's just a scrap piece of paper, and tracing with a pencil and making it your own. Because at the end of the day, guys, you're the artist and you get to decide what your project looks like. I'm just here to give you ideas. And the idea is for you to make it your own. Now, my idea here was to make the clouds white. And it didn't actually work very well, but it did end up awesome in the end. And I will show you my process. Here I've used Astro Paste. It's in the color of Frostbite. This is a Simon Hurley product that's available in the stores. It looks really great right here, but it ended up drying clear. So that's the first time I had used it. And the paste itself is wonderful. I loved the way it went through the stencil. It stenciled very evenly. I got a really nice leveled stencil through the the paste through the stencil. But I didn't realize it was going to dry clear. So you can't see my clouds. So I went ahead and did something extra at the end, which I'll show you. So here I'm just filling in the bottom part of the card. I'm not too worried about these being real blendy at the bottom because we're going to cover it all up with our scene. So I'm just getting the ink down there. And there's a little bit of a seam here, but we're going to, like I said, we're going to cover it all up. So no fret, my friends. I'm going to show you how the magic happens here. We're going to put all these gorgeous little die cuts, mixing and matching these two sets, these two collections, which I love to do. I love to match our products because all of us have all of this stuff in our stash. And if we don't already, we have other stuff in our stash that we can do this with as well. But if you're like me, you love to go shopping. So I'm just kind of playing with my scene here. I'm moving things around. I want the barn to look like it's in the background. So I'm making it right under the tree, and I'm making sure you can see sky above the tree because that's my idea, is that the tree is forward and the barn is backwards. It's behind. And then these chicks and everything are in the foreground. They're up close and everything else is behind. So that's my perspective on the card, because remember, I'm the artist. I get to design my card, and you get to design your card as well. So here's my sentiment. I just grabbed a die in my stash and just cut out a little banner with it and put it right there along the seam. No one would ever know those two greens were not inked at the same time. So here's my trick, guys. Use the Astro Paste as a guide. This worked so well. I am using Nouveau as my clouds, and we're just going right over the Astro Paste. The Astro Paste is my guide, and it's perfect. It layered up so beautifully. I was so impressed with the way these clouds turned out. I mean, so impressed, guys. They just are so fluffy. They look real because of the stenciled paste. I knew exactly where to put the Nouveau. This Nouveau, if you're interested, is Ivory Seashell. It is in the store as well, and it is fantastic for this. I would totally do the Astro Paste first because, I mean, I surprised myself, guys. This turned out so good. I mean, I'm not trying to ring my bell or toot my own horn or anything, but this, I shocked myself. Because I thought the Astro Paste down first just gave me my whole roadmap. And it was just, it looked so natural. And I loved the way I just had, I always struggle with Nouveau because, it's messy and I'm messy with it. So this just worked out, and I have so much Nouveau in my stash, it's not even funny, and I never use it. So this gave me a reason to use it. Now, I was really careful here around the barn, and what I did is I put the Nouveau a little away from the edge of the barn, and then I took the tip and I pushed the Nouveau into the edge of the barn. And that way it didn't get on the barn itself. It worked really well. So it filled the space, but it didn't get in the barn, on the barn. But these clouds are right behind the barn, and that's one reason I put the barn there, is because some of that dark green of the trees soaked into the Astro Paste, and the Astro Paste made it brighter green. And so the barn is covering up some of that boo-boo. You always can cover your boo-boos. So that's what I was doing. And I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I added this nouveau because it really finished the card nicely. Make sure to not miss all of my team members' videos here on the channel. Hit that like and subscribe button before leaving and leave me some love in the comments. I'd love to hear from you and craft life together. Bye-bye for now, my friends.